Welcome, friends. You're listening to the Swears and Does Hair podcast for bridal hairstylists and makeup artists looking to take their business to new levels. Here we tackle topics such as mindset, finances, balancing business with motherhood, and healthy strategies to keep your body and mind supporting your business rather than holding it back. I'm your host, Sue Minsky, business coach for bridal artists and creator of the Next Level Bridal Business Program. Thanks for joining me. I can't wait to dig into today's topic, so let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Swears and Does Hair podcast. I'm your host, Sue Minsky, and today we are talking about how to stand out better on social media. Okay, so 2 episodes ago, I was talking about how the bridal boom is kind of bursting. And basically, what's happening is 3 years ago, we had 2020 happen and the whole pandemic, and everybody was not going out, not meeting new people, not starting new relationships because of quarantining. So typically, after about 3 years, is when people become engaged. So if in 2020 you have this huge dip in the number of new relationships starting, 3 years later, if that's when everybody's supposed to get engaged, you're going to have again a huge dip in the number of engagements that are happening, which means that for the next 1 to 3 years or so, we are really going to deal with a lower number of weddings happening overall. So we had all this big boom where everything got pushed back a year or two because of the pandemic. And now we're having this huge dip. So we're going from way up here to way down here. And things in the bridal industry are going to get really um, more difficult for wedding vendors. It's just going to have a lot more competition. Brides are also using social media in new ways that they hadn't as much before because people weren't going out. They weren't meeting as many vendors in person. If they were going to weddings, they weren't interacting with the vendors the same way. Um, People weren't going to bridal shows the way that they had before because those in-person events, these open houses at venues, they weren't as big because again, a lot of people were quarantining. So we're having this trickle down effect of how all of these things that happened in the pandemic caused this big spike and now this big crash. So what does that mean for you? It means that your marketing really needs to go up a level moving forward. You really have to pay better attention to what you're putting out there on social media because that is where a lot of brides are searching for their vendors, especially ones in the more luxury market. They're not necessarily going to the Knot and Wedding Wire. Those sites tend to cater a little bit more towards the budget brides. Okay, so if you really want to make the most out of your business, be working with these higher end brides, it's time to really up your game when it comes to marketing. And we're going to be talking about how you can do that on social media. And I'm going to give you 3 of my best tips to help you stand out on social media from your competitors. Because now that everybody is using social media, everybody's doubling down on Instagram and TikTok in order to utilize that free marketing aspect to it. You need to make sure that you're standing out rather than just copying everybody else, because that's just going to mean that you end up blending in. So we want to make sure that we're definitely staying away from posting nothing but reels, and particularly trendy reels. We don't want to hop on every trend that's coming out, because you know what that's doing? Instead of us helping us get in front of more people, because maybe it is, but we just look like everybody else. We're not standing out at all. So it doesn't really help us to get super visible if it doesn't actually do anything for our business, if it doesn't actually benefit us at all, if we just end up blending in and everybody forgets about us. It's not helpful for people to see you and then immediately forget you. So today we're going to be talking about ways that you can stand out and differentiate yourself from the other people in your market so that you can get visible, but visible in front of the right people the right dream brides for your business, and then not just get visible, but actually remain in their mind, stand out to them, and increase your chances of being booked by your dream brides. So, the number one thing that I would say for people is to stop focusing on price. Please stop trying to convince people that luxury services are expensive and you get what you pay for when you go cheap. People are really sick and tired of hearing that all of the time. It just comes across very whiny and it comes across very entitled. It sounds like you don't have anything else to say other than, I should be expensive. Okay, so what are they getting for the price that they're paying? All you're telling them is they get what they pay for. So what the fuck are they getting then? You have to actually go one step further and actually explain to people and articulate, like, what do they get and why the hell should they care? Because some people are just not going to really care. They're going to go, okay, I just don't want to do this myself, or I can't do this myself. So anything's better than what I could do. So I don't want to spend a whole lot of money on something that I don't value. And when you are speaking to, well, good hair and makeup should be expensive. Okay, you are putting the label of expensive on your services and you're automatically implanting it in their brain that, hi, I'm expensive. And so they're going to go into this relationship thinking they're expensive. Okay, so that's one way that you're immediately shooting yourself in the foot. But you are you're just kind of telling them, like, well, I should be expensive, and you're not showcasing, well, this is what you actually get. You're just trying to convince them rather than educate them on what's the difference. Like, what are you actually getting when you spend a luxury price tag? Okay, you are getting this level of expertise, you're getting this level of experience, you're getting this level of higher skill set, you're getting this level of high touch communication and all of these back end admin things. Okay, cool. Why should they care that they are getting these things? The average person doesn't understand why those things matter and why those things are actually a benefit to them. So you really need to be able to be like, okay, look, this is what it means when I write your timeline for you. Not just trust us. We've been doing this for a while. Like, again, it just comes across as whiny as you standing there and like stomping your foot and being like, why doesn't anybody listen to me? I'm the experienced professional. Just listen to me. No one wants to listen to somebody who's coming at them with that attitude. So let's stop the passive aggressive shit on Instagram and the reels, and to stop talking down to our brides like they're idiots. Stop whining that nobody's paying your prices, or whining that nobody's listening to you, or being passive aggressive that planners aren't listening to your timelines or whatever. Come across as an expert if you want people to see you that way. If you want people to respect you in what you have to say and what you have to offer them, you need to act like you are worth that. That you have to act like you're experienced and you actually know what you're talking about, so you deserve to be listened to, rather than whining and passive aggressively complaining, nobody's listening to me. Okay, so you need to educate. Stop trying to convince people that you're worth it. Stop trying to convince people that you're an expert and you actually know what you're doing. Showcase instead. Educate. Become the authority, become the expert in their mind. Talk about the results of your expertise. Why does that matter? Why should they care? You have to give them the why. Otherwise, you're just complaining. So stop focusing on the price. Stop trying to convince the people. Educate them instead. Talk about, this bride had this problem. This is how my expertise solved that for her. That puts you in the mindset, or in their mindset, of being the expert and being worth what you charge. Because they're going to be like, this is what I get. I get X, Y, Z, all of these wonderful things. I'm getting these things. That's worth the price. Like when you go car shopping, okay? they have it right there on the window. All right. This is what this vehicle has. Here's all of the bells and whistles that are included in this car. That's why it's this price. Okay. And then when you get in, a good car salesman is going to be like, okay, well, what are you looking for in a car? Because they want to know, well, what benefits, what features of this car are going to help solve the problems in your life? Do you have kids? Okay, cool. Let me take you over to this vehicle and talk to you all about the safety features. Because if you are a mom, you are probably looking for a car that's going to be very safe for your children. But also, let me show you how easy it is to hook up your kid's car seat in it and then take the car seats in and out. Let me show you all this headroom. Because as a parent, when you're trying to stick your kid into the car, they're going to be wiggling and they're going to be, throwing a hissy fit, or they're going to have this big, huge car seat. Let me show you how easy it is and how much space there is. So you're not going to be smacking your head. You're not going to be cracking your kid's head against the door frame trying to wrestle them into their car seat. As a mom, you're like, oh my God, this is solving so many problems that I have with my current vehicle. Realtors do the same thing. Well, what don't you like about the house that you're currently in? What are you looking for in your new house? It's not just, I need a new place to live. Let me show you houses that are going to be your perfect house. So when people are walking in, they're like, oh my God, this makes my life so much easier. The house that I'm currently in right now, I hate that I have a really small closet. If I was a realtor, I'd be looking for houses with big ass closets in the master bedroom. So I can be like, well, you said you hated this, but look at this. Look how awesome this new house is. We have to take that same mindset and apply it to our industry so that we can become better at solving our clients' problems. And so they can see us as like, oh my God, this person is so good at what they do. They don't just make me look good. They don't just make my hair look nice or my makeup last all day. Cool. Anybody can fucking do that. And guess what? There are people out there photoshopping the shit out of their stuff. There's AI and chat GPT and stuff out there that can make fake fucking photos. People can steal photos from other people's work, use it to market their business. Will the bride get what she pays for at the end? Yeah. But by then it's too fucking late. She's already had her wedding day. You never stood a chance. So we need to be able to say, hey, this is why I am so good at what I do. This is why I'm the expert, why you should listen to me, and why I'm worth every single penny. So we need to show the results of your expertise. I'll give you another example. All right. If I was looking for a weight loss coach, okay, and I was looking on Instagram and it was just somebody constantly um, giving diet tips or recipes or whatever and talking about their own experience. Cool, that might get me interested. But if they never showcase the results of their actual clients, I would never consider hiring them because I don't care what they did for themselves. I want to see, well, what did they do for other people? I am hiring you to perform a service and to give me these results that make my life easier and that make my life better. What have you done for other people? And then I can take that and judge, okay, that transformation for that person was so amazing. Yes, I think that your price is now worth what you're charging for the result that you give. So, again, we want to talk about the results, and it's not just the end result of the hair and of the makeup. Okay, that's not the only thing that people are shopping for. They're shopping for convenience. They're shopping for their vibe. They want people that are going to come in and match the energy of the room so that they have a really amazing experience. So these are the kinds of results that you need to go out there and post, not just carousels talking about here's how to prepare for your trial, here's what you should do, here's what you shouldn't do. Yes, that is a little bit of education that does set you up as an expert, but people can take your tips and hire somebody cheaper and then just use your tips. So it can't just be educational tips for a service industry. You have to show, okay, here's why I am special. Here's what I do that nobody else can do, nobody else can replicate. They can take my tips too, but here's what I do and here's how I make your experience amazing. Okay. So you see how it's so much more than price. If all you're doing is trying to copy all of these trends and all of these reels and make your photos look just like all of the popular ones, and you're looking at all of these entries for like the one shot awards or the new ones that are coming up that's happening down in Atlanta, the Beyond the Ponytail awards and stuff like that. If you really sit there and you look through all of these styles and all of these photos and everything that are becoming these like top entries, everybody's stuff kind of looks the same. It's a lot of the same similar styles. Everybody's got the same poses and the same lighting and the same background and stuff like that. It's great for these types of awards. The people who pick the nominees and pick who goes up know what gets likes. They know what gets attention. They know what is going to get votes. All right. So they're going to pick this narrow niche of what's popular. Okay. But we can't just post that all over the place on our feeds, because that's not going to necessarily grow our business. Okay. So all you're going to end up doing is blending right in with what's popular. Cool. Tomorrow, that could change. All right. When it comes to being trendy, trends can change in an instant. All right. So you have to focus on the basics. You have to focus on, well, like, what do you actually offer beyond this particular style artistically? Because if that's not popular anymore and all you're doing is you're just getting really visible based on popularity, that could go away. What are you left with? All right. So the next tip that I think is really super important that I see a lot of people miss out on is show your face. Okay. If I were to go to your Instagram feed tomorrow and I were to take a look through everything, would I know what the fuck you even look like? I can't tell you how many times I'm scrolling through and I follow, a couple hundred different bridal artists so that I can connect with them. I can get to know who they are. I can get to know their businesses better. So when the people come to me for business advice, or when they come to me for coaching, or they enroll in one of my courses, I'm pretty familiar with most people before they ever become a student of me, because I follow people, I interact with people, I get to know their businesses. So when they do become a student of mine, I can be like, okay, I already kind of know where you're at. Let's go a little bit deeper. I have some thoughts on how we can improve things and whatever. So I go through people's Instagrams all the time, and there are times when stuff will pop up and I'm like, holy shit, that's what she looks like? I had no idea. I had no idea what your name was. I had no idea what you even looked like. Okay. Because we put these handles together that are creative plays on our name. But no, we don't ever actually post like, hi, I'm Sue, like Beauty Business Collective or Beauty Biz Collective. My name's not in there. I have to come out and I have to tell you in my Instagram profile, my name is Sue. And then I have pictures on there so that you know what I look like, so that you can connect with me, so you can see me. I do reels where I show my face. I have photo shoots where I show my face, where I am talking to you. Because if I'm going to be working with you one on one, whether that is over Zoom or like Instagram DMs, emails, whatever, however our coaching format kind of evolves, I'm talking to you. Okay, I'm online. I'm not actually there in a room with you. So in order to connect with you when we're having a conversation, you should know what I look like. Okay, and the same is true for our business clients. Yes, they want to see the transformation we talked about in number one. We want to see what you can do for us as your client. So results is really great, but also they need to know what you look like. They need to know who you are, because you are the one who's going to come. You're not going to send a picture and then like copy and paste and suddenly they look like the picture. You are still a physical person performing a service one-on-one. We are a hands-on industry. Okay. So when people are going to be coming into the space, we don't necessarily want to be interacting with strangers. Um, the most successful artists out there are the ones who put themselves out there and their clients come to them saying, I feel like I know you already. And this is something that you'll see in social media managers and people who talk about social media and teach about it and everything all the time. Shannon McKinstry is a great social media educator. She has a social media management company, and then she educates a lot of people on doing better in social media. Excuse me. And the other day, she posted a reel where she was talking about, when she gets new clients and they come to her and they're like, I feel like I know you already because they see her in the reels. When you feel like you know somebody, there's an inherent subconscious layer of trust there. Okay. People don't necessarily trust, so to speak, these big faceless, nameless corporations. Okay, because then it just feels like you're just giving your money to, quote unquote, the man or whatever. But when we see people's faces and we connect with them, then we feel like we're giving our money to a person. We're putting our trust and our faith into a person to give us what we want, versus just a name brand or something like that. So, when people feel like they know you, there's going to be just a layer of trust that comes along with that. It's called the know, like, trust factor. You might have heard me talk about it before. It's something that I educate a lot about with inside of my courses, particularly visibility factor, which is my Instagram visibility course, which is relaunching next month, in July. So this will come out at the end of May. But um, these are the kinds of things that help to build brand trust and establish yourself as an expert and as somebody worth the price, not just what you provide, but who you are as well. I'll take it even one step further. I talk about the show Brain Games a lot in my course and in my educating, because I think if you understand how human brains work, you're able to use that knowledge to your benefit. Understanding how we as a species respond to faces and facial cues and body language and stuff like that allows us to upgrade our experience, but it also helps us be able to maximize the efficiency of our marketing. So, if you watch the show, you'll have learned that we connect with faces and facial expressions and things like that. And even back to, like, if you're, again, I'm a mom, so the people who are listening that aren't quite moms yet, maybe this will help to you, but the ones who are moms, you understand what I'm saying. Babies connect with faces, okay? They love to look in mirrors and they love to see other babies. They like to look at faces in general. We connect with faces. So, from the moment that we are born, our brains are programmed to associate faces with different experiences and emotions and things like that. So, when you're not showing faces at all, if you're just showing the back of people's head all the time, I don't care if you are a hairstylist, cool, that's nice. You can have a portfolio of these are the styles, but social media is supposed to be social. It's a way to interact with potential clients. It is a way to market our business. It's not just a portfolio. If all you want is a portfolio, have a gallery page on your website and then pay a bunch of money to get exposure to send people to the gallery. Social media is a way for you to interact with your potential clients. It is a way to connect with them. We connect with faces. That is just science. That is just the way that human brains have evolved. So you've got to show faces in there. Um, Photos with a face in it always do better than photos of a hairstyle. So if you've ever posted this beautiful updo that you loved and it got like half the likes and engagement of your like random ass selfie in the car, that's why people are connecting with faces. So put your face out there. Okay. Also, don't just post like pictures of your face. You want to talk to people. They want to be able to get a sense of your values, of your personality, of your vibe. These are all very important pieces of your brand, and these are going to heavily influence people's buying decisions. So if you're not showing your face, if you're just talking about price, if you're not educating, if you're not showcasing like your results and what you can actually give people, if you're literally just using social media as a fucking gallery and you're like, here is all of my work and here is my price, you're missing all of these super valuable pieces to your marketing. Okay. And all you're doing is saying, here's what I have, here's what the price is. And of course, people are only going to see your work and your price. Those are the only two pieces that they have to compare you to anybody else. You're literally giving them zero other pieces of information other than here's my skill set, here's my price. What else are they going to use to compare you to somebody down the street? Because I hear people all the time, well, why would they pay me $300 versus this other person, which only charges $200 if our skills are roughly equal? The only information you gave them to base their buying decision on is your fucking skill set and your fucking price. So of course they're going to go, well, I could get the same thing for $100 cheaper. Duh, let me go with $100 cheaper. You're literally giving them zero other bits of information on why they should pay you $300 versus $200. Nobody is going to make that decision and just be like, oh, yes, of course I'll pay $300 for the exact same thing. Give people a reason. Okay. Stop basing everything on price, or else all you're ever going to do is like run your business based on price. Okay. They have nothing else to decide based on skill set and price. Cool. Price is going to be the deciding factor, especially in a time where there is a recession, where things are getting so much more expensive and people are pulling back, and people may not be valuing hair and makeup as highly as a time when they are flush and they have a lot more money to spend. Okay. So when people have a lot more excess spending money, they might be like, okay, well, this person's like $25, $50 cheaper. But I like the styles that they've posted a little bit better. That's worth it. But when it comes down to like they're really pinching pennies, and you don't give them any reason to say, well, this is why I'm worth 300 versus this person who is only charging you 200, the no-brainer choice is to just go with the cheaper person. So if you're running into that situation where people are just like, yeah, I love your work, but I can't afford you, you're not giving them anything else to compare. You're just giving apples to apples. Okay. You're just being like, well, price to price. That's all they have to go off of. Of course, they're going to go off price. So tip number 3 is really upgrade your photos. Okay. So we have, don't just go off a price, show them value, educate them. Don't convince them, show them why you're worth it. Number 2, show your face so they can connect with you. And they develop this subconscious emotional attachment to who you are and the experience you bring and your vibe and all of the things beyond price and beyond skill that you bring to the table. Now they're going to be comparing your photos and what they see. Okay, this is probably going to be the first thing that people see. They're going to see your photos and compare those two. That's what's going to draw people in. That's what's going to grab people's attention right off the bat. So, this technically maybe could have been first in this list because it's the first thing that people are going to see. It's what's going to draw them in and allow them to go deeper to see the results, to see your personality, to see all the value that you provide, and then decide whether or not your price is worth it. Your photos are going to draw people in first. So, I talked about the other things first because anybody can really have nice photos. Okay. It's the other things that are really going to give you the leg up and help you to stand out from everybody else. But if you want to capture people's attention right off the bat and be able to move into steps 1 and 2 that are tips 1 and 2 that I talked about, you really have to have number 3 as your first piece. So here's some tips on upgrading your photos. And if you're interested, in the description of today's episode, I'm going to put a link to my Photos That Sell Masterclass. I think it's like 90 minutes or so, but I show you in depth exactly how to pose and light your subjects for hair and for makeup in order to get better photos with an iPhone. Okay, you don't need a fancy camera. I show you how to use multiple different light sources. I filmed it in an actual hotel room, in like a tiny ass crowded little hotel room. So I show you exactly how to get a clean background, how to pose the people, how to light them using window light, professional lights, ring lights, all of those kinds of things. And then there's a section at the end where I actually go in and show you on my phone how to edit photos, to blur out the background, how to adjust your lighting. No filtering whatsoever. Filtering, I think, is a fucking joke. Please don't ever do that. It's the least professional thing that you can do. I don't give a shit if everybody fucking does it, whatever. No, absolutely not. I do not endorse filtering whatsoever. If you know what you're doing, taking a good photo, you don't need a damn filter. Okay. So I show you how to, adjust the lighting, the contrast, if the color photographs too yellow or too blue due to outside lights in the room, those kinds of things. That's the level of editing that I show you. So I'm going to put a link to that masterclass if you're interested in it. Okay. But when it comes to taking the actual photos, number one, make sure that your lens is clean. Okay. Especially if you're a hairstylist and you sit there and you put your camera face down or your phone face down, your camera is what's going to be face up. All right. All of the hairspray, all of the texture spray, all of the texture powder, everything in the room is going to all settle down. And guess what? It's going to cover your lens. So make sure your lens is clean. Takes 2 seconds. Take your shirt, wipe it off if you have to, or you can pack lens cleaning wipes. You can just get them in a big bulk pack on Amazon or at Walmart. They're like the little individual wipes, kind of like those little alcohol swab wipes that you see. Like if you go get at the dentist, or if you get an eye exam or whatever, and you have to put your face in that little thing, and they take out that little tiny square of alcohol and they sanitize with that. Well, you can get those kind of things that are lens cleaners. They're made for sunglasses, but they're great for cleaning off your phone. So you can keep those in there. When you're ready to start taking photos, wipe that onto your phone. You're good to go. So a clean lens will always make sure that your photos are looking beautiful and polished. The next tip, upgrade your lighting. If you can't afford fancy lights, there are a ton of affordable options. There's ring lights, there's the professional, the makeup light, there is Loom Cube. They have a bunch of different lights, whether it's panels or handheld, all different price ranges. There is Glamcore, which is another set of lights. Okay, so no matter what your price point is, there's something in there for additional lighting. You can even just get one of those little selfie ring lights that clips on. If you know how to use it and you know how to pose people, you can get better looking photos. Also, understanding how to use natural light. You can't work in the dark. You have to have some kind of light. So you should understand all right, I need to take photos. What is my light source? What direction is it coming from? What's my background going to look like? How do I need to pose this person facing the light properly? Where is that going to place the shadows? Where is that going to place the highlights? Is my light warm? Is my light cool? Is it neutral? All of these things. So upgrade your lighting and then understand the lighting in the room that you're working with. If you can understand light, you can take such better photos. Lighting plays such a huge, important part. There's a ton of different books on Amazon on lighting. One of the first things that I did when I became a makeup artist, 15, 16 years ago, is I went on Amazon and I bought a couple of photography lighting books because I wanted to understand how light was going to affect my work so that I was getting the most accurate representation of my work. And so that when I walked onto a set and I could look at the photographer's lighting setup and understand, well, how is that going to affect my makeup? Okay. I hate it, drives me crazy. One of the things that I hear people say all the time when it comes to makeup is, it has to be heavier for photos. No. If you actually know what you're doing, you can understand, how does the photographer use light? How does the photographer edit? And then how do you need to actually do your job correctly so that you get an accurate representation? Because no, you absolutely do not need to go super heavy in order for your makeup to show up. That is a crutch that people use to just do really heavy makeup. Okay. That is their excuse. All right. If you understand lighting and you understand how the photographer is going to edit, you know the appropriate level of makeup for that specific situation. There are times when putting heavy makeup just looks like fucking heavy makeup, and when doing heavy makeup looks like nothing. Okay. So the same makeup on the same person can look completely different based on the light in the room, how it was captured, and how it was edited. So please learn the difference before you start spouting about how you need extra heavy makeup in order for it to look nice for photos. Okay. Educate yourself on light and editing styles. Okay. So, being able to understand that and then being able to articulate that to people, I can't tell you how many times I've had clients in my chair and I'm doing their makeup and they talk about how upset they were that they were made to look like a drag queen, and that people use the excuse, oh, well, you need a lot of heavy makeup. Or they are very hesitant to get their makeup done in general. And they're like, yeah, the last time I got my makeup done, I hated it because they said I had to go so heavy for photos and I just felt super uncomfortable all day. And then I get done and they're like, wow, this actually looks really good, but it doesn't feel like a lot of makeup. It doesn't look like a lot of makeup. And we have the conversation while I'm working on them and while I'm talking with them and explaining to them, okay, lighting situations, editing styles, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, thank you for educating me on that. Thank you for explaining that to me, because that makes me feel so much more comfortable in what you're doing. And I know I can trust your recommendations because you've explained to me and you actually know the technical terms and you actually know what you're talking about. Now I trust you, rather than falling back on the clutch of, well, it just has to be heavy for photos. No, it doesn't. So, those are the types of people who turn around and refer the shit out of me. Okay. And especially other photographers, because they know she knows me and she knows my editing style. She knows my lighting style, and she can articulate how she needs to adjust the hair and makeup to my clients so that they can trust her. So I'm going to recommend her. I get referred by the same photographers all of the time because I took the time to understand that and educate people. So again, it's going back to being able to articulate and educate people on the whys and actually know what you're talking about, at the same time as being able to understand the light that you're working with. The next thing when it comes to your visuals to stand out on social media is, please stop copying everybody's reels. Stop jumping on every single trend that comes along. Yes, a trending audio can help give you a spike in visibility. However, if you're not using them correctly, again, we talked about at the beginning how you're just going to blend into everybody else. They're not going to remember your reel if they've seen that same trend 10 times today already. Okay. The reels are going to pick up. That's going to become a trending audio for maybe a week or two. So cool. They're going to see everybody doing the same damn thing for a week or two. You're not going to stand out from anybody in there unless maybe you're the first person. Okay. When things happen, people send me reels and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I've seen that one already. Like, it's cool and all. Maybe I remember the first person, or if it's one that has like 50,000 views and everybody sends me the same reel, I start to tune it out and I start to get really bored with it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I saw that already. Okay. Your clients are going to do the same thing. So if you just only ever do trending audios and trends and things like that, or every single one of your reels looks like everybody else's reel, they're going to all start to blend together. Okay. So when you start seeing the same thing over and over and over again, that's a sign. Stop doing that. Okay. It might be a good idea if it's a way that really helps to articulate and educate your expertise, and help to educate clients to understand certain concepts about the hair or the makeup. So, one of the things that I see people do all the time is the reel with the hair, where it starts out the back of the head and the hair is not done yet. And they're just running their hands through the person's hair. And they're like talking about client asked for, and then they bullet list the different things that they want. And then they'll do some kind of like time lapse B-roll content of them doing the style. And then they finish up with here's the finished product. Those are good because it shows here's what we started with, here's what they asked for, here's what they got. And then you can write a really nice caption about if this is the style that you're looking for, here are the things that you need to understand about the style, about how long it's going to take, what style you need to have, or how you need to prep your hair, who it's good for, and here's the upkeep for it. Those are great to do every once in a while. But if every single reel you post looks like that, it gets boring. People are going to tune it out. They're not going to necessarily watch all the way to the end because they've seen it. They've seen it so many times. So many people do that. You can do them every once in a while. And it's really great to put those things together and maybe put together a guide. Take some of your most highly requested hairstyles and put those together. Okay. And then when you have somebody who sits down in your chair on a wedding day and says, I'm not sure what I want, you can take a look at their hair and be like, here's the hair that you're starting with. Here, if we go to this guide, you have thin, fine, wavy hair with low dimension. Here's a bunch of hairstyles that I show you from start to finish that work for your hairstyle or your hair type or where you're starting with. Or something like you have thick, straight, dark hair with blunt ends. Here's some hairstyles and here's the examples. And it shows you this is the same hair that you're starting with. This is what they're starting with. Here's what we can do. You can educate and you can direct them. Here's some educational content that I've put together to help show you both with visuals and words so we can be on the same page. It's going to be a way more effective consultation, and it's immediately going to set you up as an expert in their mind. They're going to sit down and have such a higher level of trust in what you tell them rather than, well, we can't do this because your hair is like this. Okay, what next? Okay. So, those have a place in your social media. They can be very effective, but everything shouldn't look like that. You have to be able to come out there and do something that helps to set you apart. Otherwise, you're just blending in all the time. If you're looking for other content types and things to do, putting in some B-roll. And B-roll is just literally video of you doing things inside your business. Okay. It could be behind the scenes of you having a consultation. It could be behind the scenes of you shopping for products. It could be behind the scenes of you sitting there writing out timelines and schedules and all these other admin tasks that you are doing at your computer. It could be packing your kit. It could be loading and unloading your car. Just all these little things, and it's just a video. Okay, you can put it to some trending audio if you want to hop on that little visibility spike that the trending audio is going to give you, but you still have to give people a reason to watch. Like, why should they watch a video of you just working on the computer? Put some type of text over the top of it that educates them. If it's going to be you at the computer and then it's going to be you working and creating timelines, okay, put a couple of blurbs about why timelines have such a huge impact on how the rest of the day um, impacts, or how it impacts the rest of the day, whether it impacts how everybody is feeling, the energy in the room, whether people are going to feel rushed or whether people are going to feel pampered, how it's going to affect the getting ready photos, how many photos they take for the rest of the day, how it's going to affect their photographer's attitude, those kinds of things, how it's going to affect people's level of confidence and their body language in photos. So many different kinds of things. You can talk about that in 2 or 3 sentences and then tell people, read the caption for more information on um, how my style of putting together the timeline avoids all of these problems, kind of thing. And then you're educating people. And it's a B-roll that is face forward. It's showing your face. So again, people are going to emotionally connect with you in your face. They're going to see this expertise literally pasted over the top of your face. Your brain is going to associate the expertise and your face. Okay. So by simply putting those two pieces together, you're having a more effective piece of content. You don't have to constantly be pumping out tons and tons of content if what you're putting out there is maximized for, efficacy. If it's going to help you book more people, you don't need as much of it because it's so much more effective than just posting stuff out there, than just posting a photo of the back of somebody's head. Yes, it's a really beautiful style. If somebody's not looking for that particular piece of style, it does them zero good. Whereas talking about timelines is going to showcase that you're an expert. It's going to give them information that they can actually use, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Just videos and reels of you talking to the camera showcase your expertise. Yes, text is great, but seeing the words coming out of somebody else's mouth and saying, here is my suggestions, here's my expertise that I'm sharing with you, they connect with that more. Okay. Again, it's your voice. It's literally your voice at this point, educating them. They're going to see you more as an expert versus some cute little graphic that you put together in Canva and posted. All right. It's going to be way more effective. They're going to see you as an authority. I'll give you a real life example right now. Whether you're watching this as real clips on my YouTube channel that I'm putting out there now, or you're listening to it in the podcast driving somewhere or while you're, cleaning your house or whatever, you're seeing my face or you're hearing my voice educating you. Are you believing it more versus just reading a graphic that you would see on Instagram? I bet you're connecting more. I get people who stop me all the time when they see me out at events, or people who just send me DMs on Instagram and they tell me all the time, I love your podcast. I'm obsessed with your podcast. Great. All that same information is the same type of stuff that I put in my carousels, that I put in reels, that I put in captions, that I put in blog posts that are part of my course. Okay. People love the podcast because they're connecting with me and it showcases my personality. How I'm speaking to you right now is literally how I am in real life. Okay. It's very accurate. It's the same type of energy and the same type of content that I bring to all of my courses. Within my courses, you hear my voice, but you don't necessarily see me. You see slides that I put up on the screen and I record like a what's it called? Wow. Now I'm having a brain fart. Um, Slides. Like when you were sitting there in like college or high school. PowerPoint, that's the word. Okay. Wow. That was a brain delay. Okay. So it's like a PowerPoint and you watch and I can show you different visuals and I can articulate different statistics and math and things like that to help connect the dots for you a little bit better because it's a visual thing and you're not just listening to me, but literally it's the same type of thing. People are connecting with me and with me as an educator, giving them information. There are a bunch of other coaches out there who can give you the same type of information that I give you, but people choose me and they listen to my podcast. They hire me as their coach. They pay for my courses because of my expertise and my energy and my vibe and how I present the information. Okay. Your clients are looking for the same thing. All right. I'm not the cheapest coach out there. I'll never be the cheapest coach out there. And people see the value in paying my prices versus just going with whoever is the cheapest or whoever happens to be running a sale this holiday weekend kind of thing. All right. They see the value in me because they're connecting with the me behind the things. They want the information that I'm providing, but they trust me as the educator to give it to them and they see the value in the price of what I charge. And they're like, I'm going to get this transformation. I know that. And I trust this person that she's going to give me this transformation. Therefore, I'm willing to pay the price. Your clients want the same exact thing from you. Okay. They want the transformation. They want to trust that you are the expert in giving it to them. And when you have those two pieces together, then price becomes irrelevant. They have so many other pieces of information to judge your quality on versus just price. Okay. People don't necessarily always equate higher price with better quality. Okay. And if you're just coming out there all the time and saying, well, price equals quality, that's incorrect. And there's enough evidence out there that price does not equal quality because there are so many amazing artists out there that completely fucking undercharge. Okay. And then there's a lot of people out there who put out subpar work at high rates and they still get paid. Okay. The two do not necessarily correlate. Okay. So you need to stop trying to use skill and quality as justification for price. There's so many other pieces of the puzzle that go together with that. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to wrap up this week's episode. So my final thoughts on this is I want you to kind of think about influencers. Okay. How do they become so popular? What do they do that we can kind of use as inspiration for understanding how to better connect with our audience? Influencers out there, particularly like makeup influencers. Okay. And maybe I just keep going back to makeup artists all the time because that has been like 90% of my career for the last 16 years is as a makeup artist. There are a lot of people out there that have no fucking clue what they're talking about. Okay. They just got really popular on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok and they go out there and they just literally talk out their ass. They hold up a product that they've been paid to talk about or paid to promote, or they found a video of somebody else and they are literally just trying to be like, oh my God, did you see what somebody said? Let's try their trick. And they're literally just repeating somebody else's information that somebody else who is maybe an expert has shared, and they're just regurgitating it. But their audience eats it up and they're like, oh my God, you're the best. Thank you so much for telling me this. They didn't come up with that. They don't know what they're talking about. They're literally copying somebody else, or they've been given some like talking points that they're told about it. How many times do you see people and they're like, I have this product and let me read all the details on the box and this is what it's for? They're just reading shit. They don't actually understand those words. They don't understand how those ingredients benefit you. They're like, it has hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. And do they know what hyaluronic acid does for the skin? Do they understand what it is? Do they understand how vitamin C plays a part in skin function? What benefits it has for people? Who this product is actually good for? No, they're just regurgitating stuff. Okay, you can have some of the least educated people in the field of cosmetology and beauty out there literally spouting bullshit. Okay. And people eat it up. And why? Because of a couple of things. You know who they are. Okay. You know what they look like. They're showing their face to connect with their audience. All of the photos and all of the videos is them. Okay. It's not a bunch of stuff of the products. It's not a bunch of the final product. All right. It is them. It is them talking and educating their audience. They are spouting bullshit or they are regurgitating maybe some good information. Most of the time, they're regurgitating other people's bullshit. They are seen as an expert, they are seen as an authority. Brands reach out to them and send them all of these products. They get brand deals, they're paid to literally talk about shit they don't understand. Okay. If you are somebody who is actually an expert, why are you not utilizing this element of human behavior to grow your business? How frustrating is it to watch these people and just be like, oh my God, they're such an idiot. They don't actually know what they're talking about. How are they fucking famous? How are they famous and they're getting paid to do this and they're making all of this money? And they are getting all these likes and all this engagement and all these followers. And here I am. I actually know what I'm fucking talking about. And I'm struggling to book clients. You need to start taking a little bit out of their playbook. You need to start talking to your audience. You need to start showcasing yourself as the expert. They need to know who you are. They need to know what you look like. They need to understand your level of competency. They need to understand your energy and your vibe. Okay. They want to know your personality. They want to get to know you so that they can like you and therefore trust you. Okay. And they've built a really personal brand. If your branding is all over the place or there is no clear brand or you're just trying to speak to everybody versus a very narrow niche of who your specific dream client is, you're not connecting with the right people. Okay. At that point, you're just trying to get popularity and you're trying to become an influencer without doing the influencer things. So literally nothing is working. You're not doing enough of the influencer things to become an influencer, okay? And you're not doing enough of the business things to get more bookings, okay? So you're trying to exist in these two different places. All right. So you need to build a really strong personal brand that connects with your clients and focus on educating and connecting with clients if you want to book clients. If you want to be an influencer and if you just want to be paid through Instagram or through brands, that's a completely different strategy and you need to focus on that. Okay. But there are those little pieces of, showing your face and your personality and connecting with your audience that will help pull from some of these influencer tactics in order to be much stronger and much more successful when booking clients. Okay. The audience loves these influencers because they connect with them. Okay. Through education. And it doesn't even have to be correct. Okay. They are using high quality, innovative visuals. All right. And you see their face. So pull from these tactics if you want to build a stronger booking system for face-to-face, one-on-one actual services with clients if you want them to see you as an expert. Okay, so lately I've been ending every single episode with some affirmations. So today's affirmation: my business is not where it was a year ago, and a year from now it will not be the same because I am not the same. I'm continually evolving, and I give myself permission for my business to evolve too. Okay, so I want you to repeat after me. I'm going to go over that one again. Today's affirmation this week: my business is not where it was a year ago, and a year from now, it will not be the same because I am not the same. I am continually evolving, and I give myself permission for my business to evolve too. Thank you so much for watching today. I cannot wait to come back and see you next week for another episode. Don't forget to go to the description today. Whether you're watching this on YouTube, whether you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, there's going to be some really valuable links in there. Make sure to go ahead and follow me on Instagram, Visibility Factor, my social media Instagram visibility course for bridal hairstylists and makeup artists. It is coming back in July. So that means the month of June, right before I always launch my Visibility Factor course, I spend an entire month going really deep into social media marketing and Instagram. So whether or not you choose to invest in the course later on, throughout the month of June, I do talk a lot on Instagram about tips on how to use Instagram better, which is kind of the reason why I did this particular podcast topic today, is in anticipation of this topic coming up. So make sure that you click on my Instagram and follow me, and then go ahead and send me a quick DM and ask to be put on my close friends list, because I always do exclusive extra trainings for people on my close friends list where I give higher level topic deep dives and tricks and things that you can use and how to do things a little bit better, a little bit more effectively. More of those kinds of tips are for my close friends list. So whether you follow me, you'll get some of the information, some free tips on how to up your Instagram game. But if you're on my close friends list, you're going to get even better ones. And then if you invest in the course in July when it relaunches, of course, you're going to get the most in-depth, high level information and strategies and tactics, on top of like the tech side of how to do things and things like that. So that's all coming back in July. So make sure that you're following me. Send me the DM to get on my close friends list. And then if you're interested in my photos that sell masterclass, the link is going to be in there as well. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope you feel empowered, knowledgeable, and capable of handling anything that your business throws your way. Don't forget to subscribe to get access to new episodes as they are released here on YouTube, or tune in on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for the latest conversations. Love today's episode? Let me know. Leave me a comment and tell me what your biggest takeaway was from the conversation. Have a request for a future topic or someone you'd like to hear me interview? Find me on Instagram at Beauty Biz Collective and drop me a DM. And if you're hungry for more actionable content to help you grow your bridal business, click the link in the description below this video to sign up for my free on-demand training to learn how to book better quality brides faster, easier, and with less stress. See you next time.